Hello, how are you today? I am super excited because today we're going to go over ghost hunting equipment. Besides doing the actual investigation, the equipment is my absolute favorite. I am a gearhead by heart. Now, if you haven't seen the first video in this series, please go watch that. It explains why you might want to ghost hunt or become a paranormal investigator. But today, it's all about the equipment, basic to advanced to things you might never need but are really, really nice to have. The first piece of equipment is a flashlight. And that's pretty self-explanatory. It's, you're going to need it in the dark. Even if you're investigating during the daytime, you might go into rooms or a basement. The old building might not have power. So I like to get USB rechargeable flashlights. This is nice. This is a night core. Now, the two I'm going to show you here are fairly expensive, but you can get, an inexpensive, any type of flashlight. I like to get mine that are USB rechargeable. Now, all the gear I'm going to show you, I'm going to put links in the description. If you do go through the description, I get a small percentage of that through affiliate programs. Now, it doesn't cost you a penny more, but it does allow me to get extra equipment, which I dearly love. The next flashlight I'm going to show you is an O-light, and this one is pretty cool. It stays in this case, and the case actually keeps it charged. There's a battery in here. It's a very little flashlight. It's of course it's rechargeable. The runtime is great. And what I love about this is this clip is reversible. So you can put this in your pocket, and you can also put it on the bill of a baseball cap. And of course it turns that into a headlamp, which is wonderful because it's nice to have a light to use while you're, using your equipment. It's hands-free hunting. I want to, we'll focus just a few minutes or just a minute on the EVPs and what I like to use. And again, I'll put up here some really good clips of some EVPs that I've got that are super, super creepy. Are you a Civil War soldier? Put off a very heavy feeling back here. Are you a Civil War? That was the breath. We caught a breath. Soldier? What is your name? What was that?
Are you evil?
But this is my inexpensive one, and again, it doesn't cost much at all. I'll find. Hopefully, I think they still make this model. It's an Olympus, and they have rebranded. Now, I bought this upgraded, and now they call it OM system. So it's Olympus, same machine, but rebranded. But this one is a dual microphone and super sensitive. It's a little bit more money. I think I got this for under $100. It has a little stand so you can lay it on the table, and it will lift it up so you can see the screen a little bit better. Another really cool feature, there's a little slider on the back, and it'll actually bring up your USB here, and you can pop that right into your computer and download all your cool voice recordings right into an audio editing suite if you want. The thing I don't like about this with the dual microphones and it being so sensitive, I can't use this outside. It picks up even this little, the least amount of wind noise, it will pick it up. And, inside a building, it's great. What I like to use this for is I'll just let it record. I'll put it in a room that we're not investigating, And this thing is really close to like a Zoom recorder. And again, I'm not going to get really techie on this, but basically, it's a Zoom recorders are multi-channel recording. A lot of studio artists use them. You see in some of the ghost programs where they're walking around with a recorder. Some of the Zoom recorders you can't play back. You actually have to connect it to a computer. This one you can play back, so it's a little bit best of both worlds with it. Last but not least, I almost forgot this. This is again a basic piece of ghost hunting equipment. This is a EMF meter. And these are ridiculously inexpensive. I think you can get one of these for like $14 on Amazon. I'll have a link for one. Electromagnetic frequency or field. And the theory is with all paranormal investigators, including myself, is that spirits, ghosts, can manipulate EMF. And what this does is this will monitor your environment around you. Now, if you have a EMF spike, meter here will light up to different levels, and milligus is, I think, is what it actually milligus is what it reads. And there's actually a little scale down here, and when it's red, it is pegged, and you have a lot of EMF energy. And with that, while we're still talking about the basics, when you go on a ghost hunt or investigation, take a lot of batteries with you, and even if you have to, make a list of everything that you use and what type of battery, and make sure that you have extra, because it's happened to me many times. You'll go to a place and you have something fully charged, or you just put fresh batteries in it, and the batteries are gone within, minutes or even seconds. Ghosts will drain your batteries. I've had so many times where, I'm using an XLS camera, and I've charged the ridiculous thing for like 3 hours, and I get to a location, dead. All right, we have covered the absolute bare bones equipment that you would need to start ghost hunting. Now, while we're investigating and we take a little break, I will just take a little walk around with my phone and maybe use GhostTube or just my camera, do some video. GhostTube is cool because, again, it produces words and it records at the same time. Now, if you just get the free app, it'll do short little bites and it's very limited. Now, if you spend, I think it's like $10 for an entire year, you can get unlimited time and different voices that comes through. But what's crazy about that, and I've had my reservations about phone apps, but just not even a week ago, I was at a site not far from my home, and it was unfortunately it was a fatal car crash. 6 young people died instantly, and it's in the middle of nowhere. But anyways, I was using GhostTube. I just wanted to get some short videos for some YouTube shorts. It was producing some words, and something was messing with my phone. It's never happened before, and the weirdest thing happened. I got an EVP. A female voice came through my phone that said, "Stay with me." And that was right after I said, "Okay, I'm going to leave now." It said, "Stay with me." The app did not produce a word. It did not say anything. It actually just came through there. So I do believe that you can get evidence on your phone. But again, I think that the specialized equipment will do a better job because it was built just for that purpose. When I'm using my camera, this is pretty cool. This is kind of it is a selfie stick, and you have a little a Bluetooth button here, and this will stop and start your recordings, which is great. It pulls out, it goes out quite a ways, so you can, if you're doing, again, it's great for using your phone. It holds quite large phones, and also it'll turn into a tripod. So I like this. We've covered phone apps, so play around with them. Again, it's great and it's really cheap. It's a cheap way to start. If you just want to go out and have fun with it, you can probably use your phone apps. If you actually want to, get a little more serious about it, then you want to use more specialized devices. And that brings me to this piece of equipment. And besides the digital recorder, I love doing, getting EVPs. This guy right here is one of my absolute favorites, and I use this a lot with the digital recorder. This is called a Mel meter, and I'm sure you've seen this on a lot of ghost shows. And what I really love about this is it is a digital EMF meter, and it's very sensitive, and it'll show you exactly what's going on. It has alarms for if anything changes, it'll alarm. And with the EMF meter, it also has a temperature alarm. So if you're in a room and you get a sudden temperature drop or raise, it'll sound an alarm. And that's worth it just alone. But what really makes this thing shine is you put the antenna up, and on the back here you have two little buttons, so you push those in. All right. And then what that does is it turns this into basically a REM pod. But you can see if anything gets close to this, it'll go nuts. And what it does is it puts out an electromagnetic field around this antenna. And also I like it because it has a stand, and you can just set this on the table, and after it quiets down, it will tell you that if there's anything going on. So it's monitoring 3 different things at the same time. But the ones that the monitor all 3 are a little more expensive, but in my opinion, it is so worth it. This is a Polterscript device, or PS device. And you've probably seen this if you ever watched the show, the paranormal group Destination Fear. I've seen them use this device quite a bit.
Were you trying to get a demon? That's what I thought. That's what it feels like.
Demon.
I just get solstice. Satan.
So we got demon and Satan. I'm going to take a couple pictures behind you. This is just like the Ovilus. And what the Ovilus is, if you don't know, it's a device, and it is driven by EMF frequencies. So it has a word bank in it. And when something changes, when the EMF changes around you, it's believed that they can actually choose the words that this thing produces. And I like this because, like I said, it's just like the Ovilus, but it's like $200 cheaper. It's bigger and bulkier. I would turn this on, but my last investigation I used this on, the ghost drained all the batteries, and I just left them out. Moving on to our next piece of equipment. If you don't know what this is, you've probably been living under a rock. This device, or devices like it, have been on just about every paranormal show that's out there. This is a spirit box. And this particular model is the SB7 Pro. And the reason I like this is that it actually has a REM pod feature, and it'll detect Oh, I think it actually detects temperature. In fact, you can have it go off if the temperature changes. So I like this. It's pretty cool. They have smaller. They have just a basic version that's less money than this, but you'll get your typical, you know. And the theory about this is you can scan through radio stations, and you can set the sweep rate to different speeds. But the thought is that in between, when it jumps from station to station, there's white noise, and a ghost can actually kind of take over that white noise and produce its own voice, words, or possibly use words on the radio station. So it's pretty cool. Now, there are 3 people in Estes, Colorado that were working at the Stanley Hotel. They did a lot of investigating there, and they must have gotten bored one day and they wanted to try something different. So they took the spirit box and added some headphones to it with an eye covering here. And please don't judge me, my wife bought this. What they did is when you add all those together, you get almost a sensory deprivation effect with it. And how you use it is the person, of course, you plug your headphones into the spirit box, you put your eye covering on, and then you have another person. They can be in another room or even across the yard. They will do the call and response. They will ask questions, and you are the one with the headphones on that would be getting the response. And that kind of without being able to see or hear the person asking questions, your responses will be in the purest sense. Like I said earlier, everything has its specific use, and most of it is detecting EMF, frequencies or movement, or to capture something visually. This piece of equipment is it's just like a REM pod. It's a REM pod like device, and you turn this on. You set this anywhere, and when something gets near it, it'll go nuts. A little less expensive than the actual REM pod, but this is just one more device that does that. And there's a lot of equipment I don't have that is driven by EMF or triggered by EMF. I mean, there's some cool stuff, and there's some things I'd like to get. So yeah, if you buy all this stuff, I can get more equipment. And one of the cool things is we've been into locations where we're dealing with the spirit of a child or children, and they make it's called a Boo Buddy, and I wish I had one to show you. It's this fluffy white teddy bear, and basically it has a EMF detector in it, so if any spirit comes up to it, it touches it, gets really close, it'll go off. It talks. It does a few different things, and I think they have a smaller version that's a little less money, but I'll try to put a link to that on there. And they have other cool stuff. They have tracers, light tracers. One thing I haven't used is would be like a laser grid. They have some pretty cool stuff to where if something actually it breaks the laser grid, it'll alarm, and if the temperature changes in the laser grid, it will set off an alarm. So I'm this, they have bells that go off. They have candles LED candles that go off. I mean, the sky is the limit, really. There's just a plethora of devices. Now, let's go to, these are going to be more of a motion triggered. And again, it's the same company. It is. This is a music box, and you've seen them that look like little coffins and stuff. Again, I'm a little more on a budget, so this does the same thing. It's just it's not as cool looking. But you turn this on and you set it down any room. If anything breaks the beam, and that creepy? I love this. And of course, take it away, your hand away, and it stops. It's pretty sensitive. It goes out quite a ways, so you can put this across doorways, anywhere you're not going to be, investigating, but you want to be alarmed. I'm getting it too close to my face. Anytime you want to be alarm, have an alarm go off that something is possibly moving in a certain location. That's great. Now let's get to shadows and shadow figures. They're terrifying, and they are, you catch them. I've only had one experience, and it scared the daylights out of me many years ago. You usually catch them out of the corner of your eye, and they're really hard to capture. But they have a device. They got a device for everything. This is a shadow device, and they call it the Shadow Master. Now, what this does is, unlike the music box that actually alerts to movement, this alerts to change in light. And this is pretty cool. You turn this on, and it'll scream. You adjust it. You'll go into a room, you'll set it in a location, and what you do is you just get it to where it's going. There you go. Now, anything I'll get, anytime the light changes, and my hand is kind of changing the light from my studio light here. This is good. Well, what I like to do is I set up a shadow trap, and I'm sure I'm not the first one to think of. I'd love to be the first one to have thought of it. But I set this device down, and I will put a night vision camera on it, and maybe even put the music box next to it. So I may be able to, if it doesn't detect the light change, it might detect movement. So you can you have multiple devices trying to capture something there. Now this brings us to cameras and camera type devices. Now you've seen this used. This is actually my wife's favorite piece of equipment to use. This is an XLS camera. Now you have two different types of cameras. You have the SLS camera, which stands for Structured Light Sensor, and you have the XLS. I'm not exactly sure what the X stands for, but it's still basically it's the same as a structured light camera. But with this, I probably should tell you what it actually does. What you do with this is you will sweep a room, and I'm sure you've seen this on shows, and if it detects anything, people will show up, but this will also detect figures that are not seen by the naked eye, ghosts. So it actually is a pretty cool piece of equipment, and they're fairly complicated in how they work. I'm definitely not going to go into it. You can take a deep dive, but most of the shows, especially the older shows, you see them, they're SLS cameras. Now there are pros and cons to both of them, and I should mention, when you do see a figure, it's the stick figure that you see. And the pros to the SLS, the first one, and they still make them, is of course they're cheaper than the XLS, and they're lighter and they're smaller, so they are a lot more portable. But with that, there's always negatives. With that, you get more false positives with those, and that is, say you're sweeping a room and maybe there's a coat tree or something, it's going to detect the coat tree as a figure and pop it up, or maybe an arm of a couch or something. Now the XLS is a newer version. It's a newer operating system, and it does a little bit better with like 3D mapping. It has a little wider angle of view. This particular one will you can do it in complete darkness, so it kind of has a night vision, feature. There's a lot more features to it, and you don't get as many false positives. So when you're seeing something, there's a really good chance that there is actually something there. And again, I'm going to put some clips of my wife using this because she's the one that loves it. And we've caught things on the ceiling. We've caught things in empty rooms, nothing around, just something moving in the floor. We've had little ones come at us. I mean, it can get pretty crazy. Now, the negatives to this is it's bigger than the X or the SLS because it just uses more computing power to render images, so it needs a bigger battery. So it's bigger, it's heavier, and it is more expensive than an SLS. I chose to do this because we take it very serious what we do, and we want as little false positives as possible. Also, you get a nice, I put this on myself, but it has, I put legs, a little tripod. This would be perfect actually to put on a table. It does screen record, so you can record, leave a room, and you could even, if you wanted to, you could hook this up to a battery pack, and it would run a long time. I think on a good day, maybe we get about an hour of full run time off this, and it takes like 3 hours or maybe 4 hours to charge the thing up. You're charging the battery here, and you're also making sure you're charging the tablet. But you get some really, really good results with them. So I like this. My wife, she'll carry this around until she can't carry it anymore. All right, moving on to other camera devices. This is definitely an advanced piece of equipment that you're definitely not going to use right off the bat, but I find it very, very helpful. And this is a thermal camera, and you can see that it's kind of cool. It's like predator vision. But what I like about this, and this model, again, I'll leave a link below to this particular model. I like this one because it actually records. It has a micro SD card in it. And when we're using this in an investigation, you're not necessarily looking for hot spots. You're looking for cold spots because spirits, when they drain energy, it produces cold spots, and so you're looking at, with this, red is hot, black or blue is cold. So if you see a figure, you want to make sure that that if it's cold, that you're seeing something, probably supernatural. But I love this, and if you're into Bigfoot hunting, this would be great for Bigfoot hunting. Now, if you want to make videos for YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, you can use your phone. That's great. But when you're doing an actual ghost investigation, you want something that'll run a little bit longer, that you can have put more accessories on, and that is why I use this. I absolutely love this camera, and this is the Sony AX53, and this shoots in 4K, and this is what I use again for all my videos. I have this nice little this bracket that the camera just screws onto, holds my IR light, and like I said, shoots in 4K. It also articulating screen, so you can actually when I'm shooting, I can, I can get kind of a selfie shot. It has wonderful image stabilization. It almost has like a gimbal lens. It actually floats. So when you're walking, it's not as exaggerated. And like I said, I love this bracket. It has nice foam around it. You can carry it all sorts of angles. And when you're shooting for all day and all night, it's really really wonderful. And that also brings me to a just a regular GoPro. This is I think this is a Hero 12. These are wonderful. I have a chest bracket. You can mount this to your chest. And if you're shooting, a lot of times, sometimes ghosts will screw with your equipment. And I've had, cameras shut off right in the middle of recording for no reason, full battery. And then that's another reason I really like the Sony, is that it'll shoot in 4K for hours. I had to actually take a break because the little mirrorless camera I'm shooting on a Nikon. It's a Z30, and shooting in 4K. And after half an hour, it will overheat and shut down. But I think GoPros, they shoot a very long time, and like I said, the camcorder does also. But getting back to the GoPro, you can have this on your chest, and if you're using an XLS camera, then you can actually have that pointed at the camera, and so you're not having to do a on-screen recording, which burns up a lot more battery. So these are very, very helpful. You can put one of these in a corner of a room. They're waterproof. They're very, very durable. This is what I use to like if I'm going to do like a shadow trap. I will. I've got these funky little legs on a tripod that move around, but I can point this at any device and record. It's even though it shoots, it says it shoots in 4K, the image quality isn't that great on it. But something up close, if you want to see a light go off on something, capture it, short range. This isn't bad, and they're very inexpensive. I'll have a link to this little guy or something just like it. And I think that actually covers just about all the ghost hunting equipment. So I hope you like this video. And if you haven't seen the first video, please check that out. I'm going to have this on a playlist. It'll be a 3-video series. Please stay tuned for the next video. And that is going to be on how to conduct a ghost hunt or paranormal investigation safely, things you need to know, where to hunt, how to research an area, this things that'll help you along so you're not stumbling around. And you want to make sure you're safe, not only from the spirits, you don't want anything attached to you, bringing something home, but also about two-legged, things that can hurt you that are alive, and just buildings that are dangerous to be in. So stay tuned, and please leave a comment if there's a piece of ghost hunting equipment that you use now that you absolutely love, and maybe something I didn't cover that maybe I should have. Again, there's a lot of stuff. I've got a pretty good group of equipment that I use. But there's always new things to get, and I love getting them. So please subscribe if you would. Please please share the video. Please help us out. Please let us grow. I would love to bring you more content. I love the paranormal. I've been a paranormal investigator for over 30 years. And I've been to some crazy, spooky places and had some just insane things happen. So without a doubt, I know that ghosts are real. Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks for watching.